All right, welcome back. So today we're going to go over defining functions and making your own custom functions. So to start off, you have to start by defining it, so putting the def operator, and then naming your function. So let's call it just our function. And then you need to have a place for the parameters. So this is how you would pretty much just define your function. So our function can do anything we want it to below. So let's say every time we call on our function, it will make a loop from 1 to 6 or 1 to 5, and it will print each number just like that. So nothing will happen until you call your function outside of it, and that would be something just like that. And there's no parameters for us to put in because we don't even use any parameters in this function. So calling our function just like this and running it should give us the same thing each time, and it keeps going. Okay, so another function where you would have parameters is, let's call it greet. We'll have parameters last and first, have the semicolon there, or the colon, and print hello, and then we'll do first, last, and we'll have some exclamation marks there. Okay, so you can call it by greet, and let's say the last name is Smith, and the first name is John. So it's going to match the Smith with the last and the John with the first. So it will print out the first here and the last over here. So it doesn't matter really the order of which you put it in, as long as you call it in your function in the proper order, then your function will just act accordingly. So hello, John Smith. You're going to have your first where the first is and the last where the last is. Perfect. So if I want to do last first, it doesn't matter. I can just change the order whenever I want, however I want. Just like that, and it's going to say Smith John. Yeah. All right. Another thing that we could do is, let's say we have a favorite food, and the default response will be, let's say, burger, just like that. Okay, so then we'll print my favorite food is, and then whatever our food is called. Okay, so we'll call in fave food is, let's say, pasta as a parameter, and this one is just no parameter, just empty bracket. So the first one is going to fill in for what the food is. But if there is no parameter being given, then it will just go to the default one as burger. Okay, let's say we have a function called name, and what name does is it asks hello. To start off, I'll ask. All right, so let's say we are making a dialogue and we want a bunch of functions that pretty much say the same things, and we'll call these functions whenever an interaction pretty much occurs. So let's say n for our name is input, and it's a string, and we're going to ask your name. Okay, so now we have a value n, and we're going to return this value n that is inside of our function. Because when we have a value, it is, let's say we created a value n, it is going to stay a part of the function, and it's not introduced to anywhere else in our code. So we'll say our function n, or our value n, is equal to whatever happens in our function. And then I'm going to get this value that we just created from our function and say, hello, n. Okay, so let's run this. And to start off, your name is Larry. Hello, Larry, and that's our function. So another thing, instead of having to do n equals name, we can just call the function, but what we must do is globalize our variable n. Did not mean to comment that. So if you globalize the variable n, and we'll bring back our print, what happens is you can put in the name again, and now when you global it, this n value is local everywhere. So I could probably just get rid of this return, Larry, and now our value n is everywhere. It's outside of the function and it's inside of the function, and we don't even need a return now. So all we have to do is just call this name. So if I just did n equals and I didn't globalize it and I didn't return, we're just going to get an error when I put in Larry. None. Because it's not returning a value n and we're not receiving a value n. So that's pretty much it for these quick and easy defining functions, and hopefully you learned something from this video. Thank you for watching.